And this morning, we're joined by Dr. Elvira Kizilova, a professor of marketing at Dominican University in River Forest, Illinois. She was in Crimea and is here to provide some perspective on the current crisis. Dr. Kizilova, it's so good to have you on our show this morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now you told me in our pre-interview that you lived in Ukraine for 30 years. The past couple days, we're seeing videos and pictures come out of Kiev and Lviv and Kharkiv. There are bombs going off, buildings in ruin. We know that there are Russian forces in the city of Kiev right now. As someone who called that a home for decades, can you tell me what the last 48 hours has been like for you?
Well, the last 48 hours became a nightmare for me. It brings all those memories from the 2014 back, and I'm very nervous about my friends and my family who live in Ukraine. And of course, I think that Ukrainians just do not deserve that.
Mm-hmm. And you were in Crimea in 2014 helping international journalists as they covered the crisis. Is what you're seeing now similar to what you saw on the ground then?
It's quite similar in terms of what Putin wants, but of course it was a so-called peaceful reunition of Crimea, which was not actually peaceful because there were people who were killed and kidnapped, but we did not have bombs, we did not have shells, because actually Russian militaries, Russian troops were already being in Crimea because of the agreement that existed between the Crimea and Ukraine and Russia about keeping their military bases there. But again, it's like the atmosphere was different, but the feeling is the same.
Okay. And you mentioned that you have friends, family still in Ukraine right now. What are they telling you about what's going on there right now? What are they seeing?
They're scared, first of all. They're seeing bombs exploding, they're seeing panic, they're seeing war. And you know what, we never expected to see the war in our lives. And I was born in the Soviet Union, I was raised in the Soviet Union, and we did not have that war culture that Russia promotes now. We learned the lessons from the Second World War, and we were taught how to live in peace. So now it's really very hard for them to see this new reality.
And are they trying to escape? We know many people are going west toward Poland. There's even reports people are walking as far as, 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 80 kilometers I even saw. Is that something that, are they safe right now? Do they have a way out of Ukraine, or are they staying put?
Some people are trying to escape, some people are trying to stay and resist. I have friends who went back to the military forces because they want to fight. So it depends on how people feel and what people think.
Okay. Now I have a copy of your presentation about what happens after Russia invades a region. Some staggering statistics here, if we could take those for our viewers. There we go. With tourism before and after the invasion there, and what happened to the Crimean economy. Now, you also mentioned in your presentation the number of citizens that go missing or are tortured and murdered. Can you help explain the repercussions of a Russian invasion and the brutality in the aftermath?
Well, first of all, Crimea now is a depressed area because Crimea is a very specific region. It's a peninsula. It needs to be connected with the continental parts because we need water, because we need electricity, because we need gas. Russia basically disconnected Crimea from Ukraine, and although they built a bridge and they were trying to create some sort of connection in terms of electricity, but we still lack of fresh water. And also, since Crimea is under sanctions right now, there are no major Russian companies entering Crimea because they are afraid of sanctions. And also Ukraine invested a lot of money in Crimea after 1954, after it became, Crimea became the part of Ukrainian Soviet Republic, and it used to receive 66% of its budget from Ukraine. Now Russia has to donate a lot of money, but actually the difference is that Russia doesn't care about the peninsula or people living there. So they invest money mostly in military objects, housing for militaries, roads for their combat vehicles, but they actually don't care about people and of course don't care about tourism, which was the primary industry in Crimea.
And is that why a lot of people just disappear from the region? when they come in there,
No.
that brutality that comes with it?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons, but also if we are talking about people who are missing now, of course, it's also, when we're talking about political prisoners, it's also due to the complete neglect of human rights in Crimea. It's really hard to stay there. I rejected Russian citizenship. I did not take Russian passport, and after that, I did not exist in Crimea. I could not get any medical help. My son was forced out of his school, and basically, if you don't have these papers in Crimea, you are nobody.
All right, well, that's all the time we have right now. Dr. Kizilova, thank you so much for joining us on our newscast to provide perspective to our viewers this morning.